like if there's never been another you. Like if you're listening to this right now, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that you're a really good listener. I don't know if that you're really talented in starting projects where, people only sit around and talk and you jump in and get it going. You could be a very talented coach or teacher. You could be talented at finding information that's helpful for people and bringing it to people, right? These are all hidden talents. They're kind of unsung talents, things that we don't know about that I promise you have, and nobody's ever pointed them out to you. And if you don't ever find out about them, in my opinion, it's one of the most tragic things that happen in our entire time. And there's a lot of tragedy.
Yeah.
You leave less of a life, but the world doesn't get to benefit from what you have to give it.
100%.
And
that's so beautiful.
We need it to solve the problems that we have. We need you.
Yes, that is so wise and so beautiful. And I'm sure that you just helped so many people by giving them those words, because some people don't hear that. And
at my core.
Well, and here's the thing. We're all created differently, uniquely for a purpose, to fulfill a purpose on this earth. And what you're saying is if you're not tapping into that and you don't own that, you don't see it and you don't appreciate it in yourself, you're not going to be able to bring it to the level you should to the world.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, now I'm going to put you on the spot. I always tease you about doing this to me, but let's talk about, how do we get that? How do we find that self-worth? How do we see ourselves for who we are? How do we build that, our own authenticity and confidence up so that we're not constantly feeling like we need to compare?
Yeah.
If I'm putting you on the spot, I'll just give the example of self-affirmations.
Yes. That's a great one.
That's a good place to start.
I just think that, you need to be engaged in, when you left school, that wasn't your last math test, right? Or wasn't your last test. We need to be engaged in learning about ourselves. So if at this stage, it can just be purely about investing in self-development for you.
Books,
whether that's
courses.
A course you take, one of our courses that you take on purpose, or books that you read, but
podcast.
Once a quarter, you need to be doing something, because that's what's going to lead you to some of these insights, or lead you to the people that can help you connect the dots on that. If you can't see it, it's because you're too close to it. Right. And it's often the people that are outside us, or they're, for instance, we're experts at Enneagram training.
Yep.
I'm a Strengths Finders coach. Those are tools that we bring to our clients to help them find those very things.
Yeah.
Right. It's not something that we thought about. It's like, oh, I need to do self-love. Well, I better go take this test on the internet. But that is, in fact, what that leads us to is a view of ourselves as somebody who is got this potential, right? And then once we know the potential, where the potential lays, we can spend time in cultivating that instead of
comparing to other people,
spending
and
our
feeling
time
lesser,
being jealous and feeling insecure. At the end of the day, you just feel worse about yourself, because not only have you, not broken that person down, because if they're strong, they're just going to live their life, you guys.
Right.
You've now made yourself feel bad.
They're not trying to make you feel bad.
No, they're not. They're just, and if they are, then just
shame on them.
Leave them alone.
Right.
Cut them out of your life, because they're bad people.
Right.
But, you've now just cut someone else down and spent your time doing that. And it hasn't gotten you any further.
Yes. And this is the thing too, is that we spend, and we actually should do another podcast. I'm going to jot it down in our schedule on just talking about how for some reason, we want to live in our weakness and not our strengths. Right. So when you figure out, and let's not go into too much detail, because we'll go on a tangent. We can talk about that later. But the point is, just like you're saying, to understand yourself and get to know yourself and your strengths, so you can live in that space and put your energy there and growing that, as opposed to always beating a dead horse and trying to do these things that maybe is not you.